This is Mike, I'm Stephanie, our boys Brennan and Finn with Jarvis and the Rainmaker. We're the Boyles. Join us as we hop from place to place, pin our map, and go on adventures. Some local, some not so local. Hop, pin, and go.
So we are in Maine right now.
Yeah.
In Belfast. But this video is about the trip that we took to get to Maine.
Yeah, our pins on the map on our way up here. I think we have to make a video about that separately.
Absolutely.
The experiences were just so unique and so heartwarming in some instances, and just enriching for the boys and whatnot. And we enjoyed them. We just joined Harvest Toast, and we tried our first stops on Harvest Toast on the way up here.
Right.
And boy, they could not have been better experiences.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable time. And we typically do the Cracker Barrel stops, and we stop in other RV parks and get hookups and things like that. And
right.
all that works fine. I think that we probably won't be doing much of that, if any, anymore.
No way.
It's unbelievable how Harvest Toast just gives you an opportunity to experience something that is pretty unique and you wouldn't see any other way.
And so many different opportunities. Like, yes, there are the breweries and there are the wineries, but we stayed at a sugar farm.
Yeah.
There are caves and caverns and museums and
all kinds of stuff in the area.
Incredible opportunities to stay in overnight.
We made short travel days, so it was nice to pull into a place while it was still open, be able to patronize them, and support the business. In some cases, pay more for what we did at the business than we would have if we had stayed in a park or something. But at the same time, it was nice to do that, but then also have the opportunity to see the town and the area around it.
Absolutely.
And it keeps the travel days short with the kids. We stuck to about a 4 to 5 hour max on travel days. One day was only a 3 hour travel day, but it was nice. Took it nice and leisurely, and you got to experience the next spot. So we wanted to make a video just kind of showcasing those 3 stops on the way up to Maine. And we took this trip because this one just turned 33.
I turned 40. That's very kind of him to say.
Oh, wow.
I know. Don't tell anybody,
I
but
had
I'm 40
no
now.
idea. My goodness.
I know.
Your driver's license.
No.
No, you don't look a day over 33, love.
Thanks, babe.
So yeah, we were celebrating her birthday, and this was one of her bucket list items, was to
Yes.
come to Maine and to be on the shore.
To be maniacs.
Yeah, to be maniacs. They call them Mainers.
Are they Mainers?
They're Mainers.
I am a maniac in Maine. I am a Mainer maniac.
Well, I can tell you, after being here for the time that we've been here, we both want to become maniac Mainers.
Yes. Yeah, I'm never leaving. I don't know what you're going to do. You're going to go home with the kids alone, or maybe I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to go missing when it's time to leave.
Wow.
I'm staying here.
Wow. All right. So the first pin on our map was Saucony Brewing Company in Pennsylvania. Yep. They were a Harvest Toast, so if you're not familiar with Harvest Toast, definitely reach out. We'll hook you up with a referral link.
Absolutely.
Anybody going in an RV trip that needs to stop over somewhere, this is an option that is pretty unique. You get a chance to see some things that you wouldn't otherwise see unless you were visiting that area.
Right. The parking lot was huge. You could easily fit 5 or 6 huge rigs.
Yeah, they used to be a car dealership apparently, and they converted it over to a brewery, so they have a whole ton of pavement and this massive cornfield to the back. So you park right along the back, right on the cornfield. Couldn't have been easier. I mean, you could fit the largest of rigs in there, probably 5 or 6 of them, and you'd have plenty of space.
And even with the generator, I'd say we were spread out.
Oh yeah,
pretty easily.
Yeah, the closest RV, there was one other one that I saw that came in that day, and the closest we were was 40 yards, 50 yards from the front of the truck to the back of their rig. So.
One of my favorite things about this stop was the food. The food was incredible. Absolutely delicious.
Yeah, if you stop at this one, try to plan it so that you can eat and sample the beers. I mean, the beers were great, but the food was just remarkable. It was something that I think you'll definitely remember. Bar food, is not the way to describe it at all. This was like gastropub gourmet, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
The fries were amazing. The boys had a burger
and a salad.
The watermelon salad that came with strawberries instead of watermelon. But hey,
he still loved it.
He loved it, that's for sure.
I think my favorite beer was the Stonefly, but I also liked the Unicorn.
Yeah, the Unicorn was good, and the Noggin was unique. That was a nitro light ale.
It was very sweet.
Yeah, super sweet, but it was good.
I think my second favorite thing about this location were the fireflies.
Yeah, that night was wild. Growing up in the Midwest and everything, I've seen fireflies, just crazy amounts of them. Nothing like this. This was like marine bioluminescent plankton. It was crazy. There were millions of them out there, and it was perfect. It was just an experience that you can't recreate.
Yeah, that's a keeper memory for sure.
Definitely. I wish we'd have had cameras up there ready
I know,
for that. It was of the one thing that we wish we had.
It was incredible.
Camera, so. But yeah, that was a great pin. I really enjoyed this one. So, Harvest Toast, definitely.
Pin your map.
Our next pin on the map was Middleburgh Winery in New York. This is just a little southwest of Albany. It's a great pit stop along the way, another Harvest Toast. It was a great opportunity to miss the city, go around New York City. We lived there for 4 years, and we know, and as everybody should know, don't try to drive an RV through New York City. Not the smartest move, plus you'd probably pay enough tolls to feed a small family for a week. So.
Right.
Middleburgh Winery was, it's a place that you wouldn't know to go there unless you saw it on a map or found it on a Harvest Toast.
Right, you could miss the stop very easily.
Yeah, you absolutely could miss them. The sign is real small, but once you get in and you turn in, you come in.
It's a gem.
You just go straight down the road, and the tasting room is directly on the left, and either Don or Tonda is going to be out there in the field somewhere, and they're probably going to see you come in and wave you on in. They have a little gravel lot, and it's right between two plots in the vineyard.
Yeah.
Great spot for probably a large one.
One large or
medium.
2 medium maybe, or 3 real smalls.
Yeah, if you had 3 small Class A's or something like that, or C, you probably could fit them in there, 3 of those. But one large rig like ours with a truck and a trailer, and then you'd probably be limited to just the medium one after that.
Right.
Beautiful views. You're right in the thick of it. We had just an excellent time just sitting out there and enjoying the view of the winery, and the mountain is right behind you. Just a gorgeous spot.
Tasting room up for us. It was just the 4 of us plus Don and Tonda, and we got a chance to, I think it was $6 or $8 per tasting.
Like
we got to sample some of their sweet wines, which were pretty great. We had 4, I think, each.
Yeah, 4 picks each.
So if you spread it out, you can sample pretty much everything. But I think, aside from a couple of bottles that we ended up bringing home with us, we loved the slushies.
Yeah, slushies were great.
The mix slushy of the red and the white together, outstanding.
Yep.
Especially on the hot day.
Yeah. This was an excellent opportunity to just cool off with a wine slushy.
It was. There was no food at the location, but Tonda and Don recommended Hubie's.
Yeah, it was Hubie's. It gave us a couple recommendations, but Hubie's was the one we settled on, and it was a pizza, New York deli style, not deli, but a New York style restaurant there in Middleburgh. And couldn't have been a better pick, honestly.
Absolutely delicious. Pizzas were incredible.
Since we've left New York, we've been ruined with pizza. We can't order pizza anywhere because we're just like, it's not New York.
Yep.
This was New York pizza. It did a good service to the city's pizza style. I think, the small that you guys
We got
all
three
had,
smalls.
is the size of a medium in a regular place that you would get pizza at.
Right.
So
We ended up
definitely
taking
worth
home
it.
leftovers.
Yeah, we had
It was
leftovers.
outstanding.
It was excellent pizza though, and we sat out on the patio there, just like everywhere else. They're doing everything outside and not inside.
Real
Parking
cute.
was easy. We were parked
Charming.
right next to the place. And we could fit a dually in there parking, so it's not like you would think in New York where you can't park it.
Right. Beautiful. Excellent stop. I would
Yep.
pin this one to the map.
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely. Pin this one. That's a good one. So our third pin was the Robb family sugar farm, or the sugar house. You kind of refer to it both ways.
Right.
They make maple syrup.
It's in Vermont.
Yeah, it's in Vermont. Great spot, right near Brattleboro, and that's just a phenomenal location. It really is just kind of a crossing of a couple highways there, and they're in the valley by the river. And it's just a great spot. A lot of history
The
there.
road we took to get up there was scary.
Oh yeah.
It was real narrow.
Yep. You get to a point where it goes to gravel. It's not dirt. It's
Sure.
packed gravel, but it's maintained. It's graded regularly. I imagine they do it that way for snow removal and stuff
Sure.
late in the season. It could be intimidating if you have a large rig, but we had no problem whatsoever. We're super long, and we're not as tall as like a fifth wheel or a Class A, but
There were no height restrictions.
Yeah,
It just
no.
seemed more intimidating.
yeah, it's not your usual paved road.
Right.
So, but you definitely, there's two ways to get in there from either direction of that road. Look at it on a map, and you'll kind of see one of them's a little shorter than the other, so you might want to pick that. Otherwise, it was no problem.
So we got there, and they couldn't have been more gracious.
Oh yeah, I was nervous because here we are in the world of the pandemic, and
Right.
we pulled up, and there were three folks of a later generation in life, and I was kind of worried that they were going to be worried that we were bringing kids and all
Right.
that kind of stuff. But they could not have been sweeter. They were
Sweetest
the nicest people in the whole world.
Sweet like
Yeah.
maple syrup.
Just like
I
the
mean-
syrup, right? Yeah, definitely. They have 3 spots that they can put RVs in, and one of them is like a little secluded sort of field off to the side. It's part of the cow field, and they section it off
Yeah.
with electric fence, which I really loved. Kept the kids right where we wanted them. Really, the cows come down after a while.
They come down and graze.
And the
with some
big
horses.
draft horse. They have one draft
Yeah.
horse and a bunch of cows, and they come down and graze right up along the fence line. The kids loved it. It was
Absolutely
excellent.
loved it. It was great.
So we chose that spot, but they had 2 other ones. One was right in the driveway of the place.
It was.
Which, great spot if you're just in and out really fast, which is what the other couple was doing. There
Right.
was one other couple that was
It's a
there.
huge fifth wheel.
Yep, they brought a huge fifth wheel in, parked there overnight, and headed out early in the morning, and it was perfect for them because they didn't have to go through the whole level and all that kind of stuff.
I think each spot had a picnic table and a fire pit, and they brought by firewood.
Yeah, they brought firewood right to the site. We didn't get a chance to have a fire. We just were kind of doing the in and out. And while we were here, we did our COVID test.
We
because
did.
Obviously, we're on our way to Maine, so to comply with Maine's laws, we had to get a COVID test. So we spent the afternoon getting the COVID test and then going in their shop.
Their shop was amazing.
Unbelievable.
I mean, just go back in time to 1907 and
Yep.
learn all about how they farm maple syrup from trees. I don't
Yeah.
even. It was incredible. I think the
Yeah.
kids took more away from that experience than I had anticipated.
Yeah, quote of the day was 8-year-old Finley saying, "I tapped that," because it was on one of the shirts.
I bought that shirt.
Yeah,
because
we
it
bought the
was so
shirt
hilarious.
and the sticker and the magnet.
And tons of maple syrup.
Yeah, I think, it would have been cheaper to just go to a Jellystone or one of those other expensive campgrounds. But this was a harvest host we won't ever forget.
No, it
We'll
was
probably do
outstanding.
it again. I think I would do it again just when we run out of syrup.
Charlie's grandparents, grandmother, and his grandfather. And the middle one is his father, Herman. And on either side are his twin uncles, Chester and Charles.
That is amazing. You said 1907?
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible.
Just to see the operation. They
Right.
talked about fighting squirrels.
Right.
They're carved out a life there for over 100 years, and it's something to see how they've grown over the years as well as innovated, and they're still at it. They used to be cattle farmers.
Yes.
And they switched to a sugar house at some point. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I had no idea. Like you picture how they get maple syrup from
Yeah.
trees, but seeing these hoses
Yeah.
across like lines of hoses, almost
Yeah.
like a ski resort
Yeah.
of hosing.
Yeah, it did. It was just wild. It was like you would think they were doing some kind of science experiment in the
was
woods
wild.
there, because they have these vinyl hoses just strewn going up the hill along the creek side there to all these trees. And she said they had some, I don't know, 500 or so of them, something like that.
Something crazy.
And every year they have to move every single one of them.
Right.
They have to drill a hole.
A new hole in each tree. I think she said like 6 or 7 holes in a tree.
But they do still have the old spile method there. So
They do.
have a tree growing right in the center of their shop, and it goes through the roof of the building, and you know they built around it or whatever. And there's a spile with a bucket right on it in the middle of the shop. Pretty fantastic. I mean, couldn't ask for a better stop. You see the whole operation. She takes you through the whole thing.
This is where the sap comes in.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
With that, when the sap is running good, we'll empty that tank down there 4 or 5 times a day. So then it goes from those holding tanks in there up into that holding tank up overhead. That's a 500 gallon.
Wow.
The stainless steel one, the shiny one that you see in there is 3,500 gallons.
Wow.
And it comes down, everything works on a flotation basis. And as it gets heavier, as I said, it comes in there as the raw sap, and as it gets heavier, it pushes forward into what we call the front pan. And each one of these pans is a little bit closer to being the final product. So then it comes into this holding tank, and then when these get full, there's a hose that connects, you can see right there. We have to put it through a filter press.
Oh yeah, through the press plates,
Yeah, and it goes through 14 of these filter tubes.
Wow.
That is amazing. It's like
what are the
papyrus.
things that it filters?
It filters, it does not filter out branches or
Right.
anything like that. It
Hopefully you
filters-
don't have those anymore.
No, those get filtered out when the sap goes into the holding tank. It's graded totally by color, and we have to grade it in the natural light.
What's the best grade in terms of what
It's
you want?
it's personal preference.
Gotcha. Okay. So what is the
Personal
flavor
taste.
impact of the color? Anything? Or is it...
Yes, there is a difference in each color, and I'll
Okay.
give you a taste of the amber rich and of the robust that you've got.
Yeah. So then we got our COVID test, which was an experience. Let
That
me
was-
tell you, folks, if you haven't gone through that there, it's an experience. They
Well, let's
basically.
explain why we had to get a COVID test.
Yeah, well, I mean, the state of Maine requires, unless you come here and quarantine for 14 days in one place, obviously paying the lodging costs associated with that, you can't go anywhere while you're quarantined, of course. Unless you do that, or you get a COVID test within 3 days of arrival to Maine, and then have the results. So we got our test in Vermont, and then went to Maine and quarantined for 2 days or 3 days until it took. We finally
was
got
3.
Yeah, it was right at 3.
Then we got our
results.
negative test.
and then we were able to go out in town and do stuff.
But that experience of getting your brain swabbed,
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure they were sampling my childhood with that.
they were.
And I was hopeful that they'd take a couple of my painful memories with it on the way out.
Oh.
But, oh yeah, that was crazy. Though we got a couple of clips of that too.
We do.
So we cringe when we see our videos again, and hopefully that gets conveyed to you. However, if you haven't been tested,
well,
it's a life experience. Let me tell you.
it is. So back to Robb's Sugar Farm for 1 sec. I would pin that to the map, especially if you have kids
Oh yeah.
or if you're a history buff.
Yep.
That stop is everything. I mean, the kids were blown away. 40 gallons of syrup makes 1
40 gallons of sap.
Sap.
Makes 1 gallon of syrup.
What?
Yeah,
The
that-
kids, I think the kids have memorized that line.
Yeah. And
They've been
the
repeating
taking a glass of syrup of sap next to a glass of water, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference looking at
Right.
it. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, definitely a stop worth going to. It's a way better than just the typical alcohol type stops, especially for kids. It really works out.
Sorry that was so loud and windy. We didn't realize how windy it was when we recorded that.
Hey, sea breeze. They get the full experience.
That's it. You were at the ocean with us. I'm excited for you guys to watch the next video and check out all of the adventures that we've hopped around the coast of Maine and throughout the various cities, from Portland and Naples up to Bar Harbor. I think you're really going to get a kick out of places that you could pin to your map. Maybe you guys might be considering moving to Maine like we are at this point.
This place has got us really thinking a lot about changing lanes.